Greetings once again from Christ Church, Missoula. This is Pastor Flynn, once again with our weekly meditation, which is from John 15, verses 9 through 10 this week. As the Father loved me, I also have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. Last week in the weekly meditation, we saw that in King David's dying words to his son Solomon, were that Solomon must prove himself to be a man once David is dead and he takes over the throne. And it is by obeying the commands of God that he will achieve this. Men prove themselves to be real men by obeying the commands of God. In today's text, Jesus tells us that obeying the commandments of God is also how we prove our love for God. Real men love Jesus. Now, if you're like me, when I hear that slogan, real men love Jesus, it rubs me the wrong way. As true as it is, somehow it communicates to me a soft, wimpy, overly emotional response to hearing the name Jesus. It doesn't seem very manly at all. But part of the issue, I think, is that in our over-feminized culture, we associate love with more feminine virtues like nurturing and gentleness and sensitivity. And we think that in order to love Jesus, this is the only way to love Jesus. And in order to love Jesus, we have to become like women. This is perhaps one reason why so many men are not interested in the church. But love in the Bible is much more. In the Old Testament, the main way that God describes his love for his people is in the Hebrew word chesed. The word hesed includes deep emotional attachment and affection, which is what we normally associate with the word love. But that's not the primary meaning. The primary meaning is actually covenantal faithfulness, deep, steadfast loyalty. This is the kind of devotion a loyal knight might have for a beloved king, or perhaps a soldier who loves his country. At the Last Supper, Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments," John 14, verse 5. He spoke this to a group of men, his disciples. And this was not some hippie love-in with everyone singing evangelical love songs. Jesus is preparing them for war. He's preparing them for when he will be gone and they will carry on his ministry. These are Jesus's last words to his disciples before his death, resurrection, and ascension into heaven. And the disciples will carry on his ministry, building the church, being empowered by the Holy Spirit. And when Jesus is gone, the disciples must prove themselves to be men. Prove their covenantal loyalty to Jesus by obeying his commandments, no matter what the consequences. Like Phineas, like John the Baptist, like the whole host of the great cloud of witnesses, and like Jesus himself. Chesed is manly love. Thanks for listening. And again, until next time, his mercy endures forever. Emmanuel.